Dai fell first, but Shun fell harder. It's been so entertaining to see Shun being in denial about his true feelings for Dai, because I'm not kidding when I say this that Shun has been so sensitive about Dai and his feelings since day one. I'm going to list out every single moment when Shun has been jealous and possessive of Dai, so keep watching. First of all, we know that Dai fell for Shun. Dai is someone who wears his heart on his sleeves, someone who probably hasn't experienced something drastic or traumatic in his life. This openness and sincerity makes his affection for Shun pure and uncomplicated, in contrast to Shun's more guarded nature. But we saw in the episodes that Shun has gone through something life-altering, something that has given him severe abandonment issues. He also wants a relationship that is long-lasting. He wants someone he can marry, someone he can plan his future with. And he also said that he tends to expect a lot from his partner, so he needs someone who is strong-willed and someone who can bear those expectations. But Shun doesn't realize that Dai has already entered his heart, and every little thing that Dai does affects him deeply. He's in denial, saying that what he's experiencing is not jealousy, but it is clear as day that even if Dai so much as smiles at someone else who is not him, Shun's blood boils with rage, and it's so apparent on his face because he looks like he's on the verge of tears. The fact that he hasn't even claimed his man Dai and is always so furious with him and his flirty actions is so funny to me. Like, people say Shun is complicated, but he's literally so easy to read for me. He's afraid of falling in love more than Dai. He doesn't want to lose his upper hand in the relationship. But at the same time, he's the one that always ends up hurt or annoyed. So flirty, carefree, smitten Dai loses in rock, paper and scissors game on purpose and directly confesses to Shun by writing his name on the phone and handing it over to him. So it's day one and Shun already knows that Dai is interested in him. Did you notice that when Dai said Usak-san is sexy, Shun immediately looked over at him? Like, he was kinda irked that Dai confessed to him moments ago and is already calling other men sexy. Not only that, silly Dai goes and says, "You were my favorite, I wanted it to be you." Look at how Shun's smile just fades away slowly, like he is in disbelief that, boy, you just confessed to me and now you are so over-enthusiastic about a new guy joining. To be fair to Shun, I think Dai gave him mixed signals here, and this was literally the birth of Shun's insecurity, because Dai will confess to him and then go and be so hyped about a go-go boy joining the house. I would be mad too. I would be furious, to be totally honest. Now they've kinda settled in and Shun and Dai spend a lot of time together. We see some tender moments of Dai taking care of Shun, like checking in on him when he wasn't feeling well and folding his laundry for him. Shun sees how affectionate Dai is and confides in his friend Ryota that he might be developing feelings for him. He also says that even though Dai tends to overreact at situations at times, he's starting to find those traits endearing. So we know by now that Shun has fallen for Dai. But Shun is still not ready to confront these feelings in front of Dai, maybe because he wants to be certain about his feelings first, and he also wants to gauge how enduring Dai is of his feelings, because I think he's self-aware and knows that he can be quite a difficult person to deal with, and needs someone who is willing to keep providing him with reassurance and support. Now this is very, very important. Shun wants Dai to keep showing him that no matter who comes in his life or who enters the green room, he will keep on choosing Shun and won't look at anybody else. And this is the test that Dai continues to fail. You know how Shun found naked pictures of Dai on his phone, and he said that his ex, who is a surfer, was a big player and he came here in order to start over again? And just as he was starting to like Dai, he found the same kind of pictures on his phone. I think it's so normal and kind of expected to be immediately alarmed after looking at those pictures, especially if you've gone through something traumatic in your relationship in the past when the ex kept cheating on you. You will not want to repeat those same mistakes again. Even though Dai was able to comfort him with words and said that he's attracted to him and won't ever be like his ex, and Shun will be safe with him, it's normal to worry about those pictures. Even the next day, Shun couldn't look at Dai's face and was upset about the episode and had to spend some time alone outside of the house. Now, as soon as Alan entered the green room, Dai and him recognize each other because they were once physically close. As Dai mentioned, we were not close or anything, but we did go all the way. Shun's face drops as soon as Alan enters the house because Dai was extra happy and smiling when he saw Alan. Shun is really bad at masking his emotions. His face always betrays him and his feelings are always apparent on his face. Shun is already uncomfortable around loud and extrovert personalities, and Alan knowing Dai from before makes it 10 times more difficult for Shun when he was just starting to develop feelings for Dai. When Alan asked how him and Dai know each other, Dai answered, "I DM'd you on Insta because you were hot." What, in front of Shun? The eye roll and shutting his eyes, completely removing himself from the situation, would make me shake in my boots if I was Dai, to be honest. Like, how are you so wild and carefree when your scary husband is sitting there frozen like a stone statue? When Alan was fixing the towel on Dai's head, Shun was on the verge of tears. Like, you cannot tell me that he didn't want to bawl his eyes out here. I mean, seriously speaking, he's not upset because Alan is helping him with the towel. He's just generally overwhelmed by Alan's arrival. For introverts, it always takes time to get comfortable with people, and when he finally was feeling content and happy with this bunch of guys, Alan came in like a storm. Alan's extroverted presence is both overwhelming and unsettling for Shun. Extroverts like Alan have a way of dominating the atmosphere, filling the space with their energy and drawing attention effortlessly. This can be incredibly jarring for introverts who thrive in quieter, more controlled environments. Shun had just started to feel secure and at ease within this group, and Alan's sudden, vibrant presence disrupted this delicate balance. On top of that, Dai and Alan know each other from before, which is another big cause of concern for Shun, who doesn't want Dai to pay attention to anyone else other than him. Dai and Shun have a date, and I think there was a mismatch of energies on the date which made Shun feel a bit emotionally burdened, like he won't be able to keep up with Dai's energy if they get together. I think having a similar personality as Shun, I can clearly see his struggle here. He's attracted to Dai, but at the same time, he's scared that Dai will be too much for him if they get into a relationship. Silence and space is precious to people like Shun, and with Dai and his vibrant presence, Shun fears that these needs might be compromised. So Shun decides that they are better off as friends for now, and since they still have some time in the house together, they can still kind of keep getting to know each other, and he's hoping that he will eventually be comfortable and secure enough to be his true self with Dai and maybe match his energy too. But he doesn't know that a tornado is coming in the form of Iku to disrupt their balance very soon. When Dai gave that speech that he wants to spend some quality time with the person he likes, eat and drink together and share some relaxing time, Shun's eyes had already started to well up. I'm pretty sure he was regretting his decision of not writing Dai's name on the card for them to go on a date. When their names were not announced, Dai was heartbroken. Honestly, it was so sad. The pain in Dai's face made me tear up, and Shun was crying too. I don't think he wanted to break his heart like that, but committing to an overnight date when he is unsure of his feelings right now would be unfair on Dai as well. So I think he did the right thing by putting a pause on their relationship for the moment. But this decision will cost my Shun baby a ton of anguish later on. Now Dai and Shun are friends, but since Dai is not as aggressive in pursuing Shun as before, Shun has kind of started liking him back, and he's doing little things to keep Dai attracted to him, which was honestly adorable to see. Shun said himself that if things continue to be this way, then they might end up dating, because now that Dai has calmed down a little, Shun is starting to fall harder for him. But time and unexpected events wait for no one, and a tornado named Iku enters the house who matches Dai's energy perfectly well. Not Dai making Iku lick his 2 fingers right in front of Shun's salad. I'm pretty sure he's showing these exaggerated expressions and moves to Shun on purpose so that Shun can realize what he's missing out on. And I like that because unless there is competition, Shun won't realize just how deep his feelings for Dai are, and Iku seems like a perfect catalyst to make that happen. Shun is trying to act nonchalant while Iku and Dai are getting to know each other on a lightning speed. Like, how do you go from saying hello last night to laughing together and talking so casually in just a few hours? Shun's eyes, as usual, betray him and is already furious with Dai. They are making rice balls while getting to know each other right in front of Shun. Okay, I know your game, Dai. I know what you're trying to do and it's working. Shun's favorite defense is to mentally remove himself from the tense situation and just try to focus on something else. So he randomly started drawing here when everybody else is getting things ready for the picnic. Iko is trying to be all cute and flirty here, trying to attract Dai, but when it comes to Dai, Shun is always watching. He immediately looks up, catches Iko being all coy and playful with Dai. I think at this point Shun is already over this fucked up picnic and wants to go back to his room, but not at the same time because who will keep an eye on these two while he's not around, so he reluctantly stays. Okay, who thinks Dai is purposely telling Ryota that he's into Iku so that Ryota will go and deliver the message to Shun? Because Ryota and Shun are best friends, I don't think Dai can like Iku because he's already smitten with Shun, and he has fallen in love with his darkness. No amount of energetic and radiating Iku can attract someone who has already fallen for the moonlight. Who noticed Shun looking over at Iku and Dai when Iku went over and invited Dai for a photo shoot? He was concerned and hoping that Dai won't go with Iku, but he did. Honestly, the sight was not only unbearable for Shun but for me too. Not that it's Dai's fault, but what Dai did here unconsciously amplified Shun's insecurities. He can clearly see Iku matching Dai's energy and he's reminded of the fact that Iku will give Dai what he is unable to do. He can't even look at Dai and Iku together in front of him all happy and cheerful and giggling, so he immediately turns his face towards the side. He's desperately hoping that his friends will take him out of there because he can't bear to see them together like that. I'm not worried or anything. Shun, I dare you to remove those glasses and say that sentence again. Your pride is not letting you admit this, but you already know why you are so furious with Dai. Alexa played The One That Got Away by Katy Perry. Shun and his honest face. All of his worries, his jealousy, his love for Dai is so apparent on his face. Honestly, the cameramen should get a raise here because they know what they were doing with a long shot of Dai and Iku holding each other's hand and going down to the sea and then cut to a close-up of Shun's miserable face. I'm willing to mortgage my house to hire these cameramen to shoot some of our BLs because they are doing an outstanding job of delivering what we want. When Iku said that if he gets a lackluster response to his enthusiasm, it's a turn-off for him, he was hoping for a similar response from Dai, but we know that Dai doesn't feel that way. He enjoys Shun's quietness, he's not turned off by it, so he doesn't reply to Iku. Iku and Dai are not the same. Dai already has Shun in his heart and he loves his reserved personality. Dai came to check on Shun on purpose. He didn't want a water or anything. He wanted to get a reaction from Shun like he's saying, just say yes and I'm yours. Just give me a sign and I'll drop him and run back to you. Like, I'm doing this for you. Can't you see how much I love you? Come back to me.